Hey, Coach, so happy you found us. First of all, subscribe and like so you get these. We put these up every day. Second thing is make sure you go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It's a one-stop shop for basketball coaches. Be everything you need to become a better basketball coach. Go over and check it out. It's a community. We just got off an hour and a half call just talking hoops, sharing ideas. Nothing else like it. You get my personal email address. You will love it. Go over and check it out. Let's head off to the video. All right, welcome to Coaching Youth Hoops, episode 17. We're getting there. I know.
I told you this story. I remember I tuned in to Teach Hoops, your other podcast, at 75.
Coach Unplugged.
Coach Unplugged. Yeah.
Coach Unplugged. Yeah, at which one?
I think it was 75.
We're at like 1,400.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
For a while. Not really, though. I mean, you've been doing a lot.
COVID did that to me. Did that to me. I used to be once a week, and then I went to twice a week, and then I eventually, it's only 7 days in a week. All right. So this week's topic is an exciting one.
Aren't they all?
Yeah, they are. Some are more exciting than others. It's like
anytime we get to talk basketball.
Yeah, that's true. So coaching youth hoops, practice planning version.
Yes.
So let's talk about you and I have talked about this off camera, but we both coached our kids in multiple sports. Yeah. And one of the hardest things for me was working all day and then heading off to practice. That was like, especially when I did basketball practice wasn't as hard for me, but my kids' soccer practice, I literally had no idea what to do. I don't know. That was one of my biggest. Yeah. That was one of my biggest obstacles is knowing what to do and how long to do it.
And know if you're doing it right.
Right.
You got all these eyes on you, and right? The parents on the sidelines looking at like, what is he teaching?
I'm telling you, I think it's harder in a lot of respects to run a youth basketball practice than it is to run my high school one. And here's the reason why. Other than I've obviously done it a very long time. When you coach youth, mom and dad stay.
Yeah.
And they're on the side, like you said, and they're watching. And they're like, and the kids are like, when you're dealing with the 8-year-old and it's like the standing around and what are they focused on? It's like, no one's in my gym other than my coaches and my players.
Right.
So I don't know.
They're judging.
No one's judging. I mean, they're judging other ways. They're judging
later in the game,
in the newspaper.
In the newspaper.
or Jocko is on the 10 o'clock news is maybe judging me, but the news reporter. But yeah, it's like that's what I always felt when I was doing soccer. It's like, it's like, and you know what I noticed when I was coaching and I didn't know what I was doing is I never had enough stuff to do. Like,
well, in the organization of that stuff too, like from a teaching, what do you teach? What do you teach first in soccer if you've never played right? I bring some cones.
I love it when you do soccer practice and they hand you this bag with cones and pennies, and like balls, different color and balls. And they go, here you go.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what am I supposed to do with the cones? What am I supposed to, like, I guess the pennies are for different teams, but it's like, and then my first thing was I just started Googling. That's what I did because I just didn't know what to do. I mean, to be honest with you, I just like, how do I do a youth practice? How do I do a youth soccer practice? Yeah. And like you said, what do I start with? I started with dribbling because I figured if they could dribble the ball, it's like dribbling a basketball. But I don't know I still don't know to this day if that's right. So, I mean, what about you?
Well, and then also what's appropriate for at the level that they're at, the age that they're at. And I think that, you don't know what you don't know. So you might be teaching some advanced moves and they're like, why aren't they getting it? Well, because their brain can't handle it. Right.
Right.
And of course you want to push the kids, but you also don't want to burn them out, whether they're not getting it, they're not having fun. Right. So Yeah, I think it's the building blocks of one practice to the next, to the next, to the next, to get ready for that game that you're going to have. And at the end of the season, looking back, oh yeah, I learned something. Or you could, yeah, they did get better. And I don't know, where we live, it's so competitive, even at the first grade level, right? Like,
Right.
if you're not winning, right? Even though you're a volunteer coach and, people are yelling at the sidelines. And so you got that pressure of making sure that you're, doing everything, teaching the technique the right way, even, right?
Right.
Even just think about basketball, basketball, but I guarantee you there's still people in the stands, of parents in the stands of your kids that are telling you how to coach basketball.
100%. They're like telling me to my face. And it's like, okay, I think I know. I think I'm pretty knowledgeable.
Yeah.
But yes, there's always the second guessers, but
well, and also just like, oh my gosh, I forgot I had soccer practice tonight, or baseball practice. What do? I'm grabbing a piece of paper and I'm just writing stuff down. Like, okay, yeah, in a pinch, that's fine, but it's kind of a waste of time, that hour that you have or whatever you have for that practice.
Right. And I tell people this, here's the analogy. It's like, I'm not going to walk into my first hour class tomorrow. Let's say I'm teaching tomorrow, and just open the book and start. I mean, I'm not going to, I'm not going to wing it. Now, could I, after 30 plus years, probably wing it just about every day if I had to, but I'm not going to do that, because I'm not going to be an effective teacher at that point. I'm not going to get it. And that's the hard part and that's what you and I have talked about. The struggle is a lot of us are outside of our comfort zone, and we're trying to teach kids and we're trying to make it fun. You've heard me say this on my podcast. You never want to be a kid's last coach in a sport ever.
Yeah.
Like, because that means it's not fun for them when they're 7. Like, you're the last basketball coach. My daughter stopped playing basketball, I don't know, 8 or 9, because she just didn't. She went to a couple practices. It wasn't fun. It's like, it's like, okay, that's fine. That's probably wasn't her thing anyway, but you just don't want to be that person. So I think this leads into, and I'm gonna do the pitch here for Bill, because he won't do it. This is where basketball practice plans came into existence. Was just you and I talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even I looking back on my career as a coach, starting with my son in the third grade, was I was a player, played, but I was never a coach. So what do? Well, I did the same thing you did, is I Googled basketball practice plans for first grade, right? Or third grade, sorry. And then just started putting a Frankenstein of things together. And then I'd have to do that the next day or the next practice. And then hopefully, like, wait a second, oh my gosh, I forgot about it. I got to do an offense and a defense, out of bounds play, like the whole, right? I had to come up with all of this stuff. And so let's, fast forward way too long. It took me way too long to put this together, which was just thinking about the idea, well, what if everything was just handed to you as a youth coach, as maybe somebody, it doesn't matter if you know exactly what you're doing. You have a full-time job, you're a full-time parent, and it takes a lot of time to put a season's worth of practice together and make sure that they're building upon one another. So that's why I hatched the idea of basketballpracticeplans.com, and I want to make it, going on our mantra of this podcast, which is to touch 1 million kids, right? Through the power of basketball.
We might want to reword that, Michael
reach
Scott.
1 million. Can you edit that out? Reach 1 million.
I'm gonna leave that in. That's a Michael Scott. That's right. So anyway, that listens to The Office. We were just watching an Office episode in the house, and something about, like, he was doing his online dating thing, and he goes, I think his header was like, I like kids, or something like that. It's like, so, well, I'm gonna start calling you Michael. But anyway, I know what you meant. Meant. But go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, no, I want to be able to
impact. We want to impact 100 basketball or 1 million basketball players.
Yeah, and we're going to do that through the coaches and the youth coaches around the world, right? Period, right? And if we can educate and teach them how to teach the game and how to incorporate life skills and everything else, we talked about this earlier too. There, I have a coach that reached out to me is, how do I, what are the team bonding events that I could do at the youth level? Right. These kids are all coming from different places and schools, and they don't know each other. And how do, that'll be in a future podcast, but those are the types of things that I want to be able to address.
Right. So anybody that's listening right now, I'm going to put the link. We're going to go look at Coach's website and talk about it a little bit. So if you're listening right now and you want to see all of this, I'll put it on YouTube too. So I'll put the link down below, so you can do that, and watch this and kind of see his little baby that's kind of going to be born and hatching soon.
right in front of
and I'm going to raise my hand and say I'm the one that say basically you have to have this done. I'm the one that gave him a little bit of push. I didn't push him off the cliff, but I got him to the edge of it.
That's right.
So all right, so Coach, why don't you pull up basketball practice plans, plural plans.
All right. Can you see that?
Yep. And so for people listening, what's going to happen is if you're listening right now, Coach is still going to be in August. He's going to be in his beta version. Tell me if I'm wrong, right?
Yep. Exactly.
And what we're seeing right now on the thing is just kind of a name, email, what grade level, so you can get on the waiting list. What happens after I fill this form out then, Coach?
Yeah. So after you fill out the form, you wait.
Okay.
So the idea is we're going to be inviting coaches in batches, because I don't want to release this to the world and get it wrong. I want to make sure that coaches are getting value, and that they're going to help me. I want to listen to your feedback and make these practice plans useful, right? Not just one you print off find on Google and print off the internet. We've all done that. And anyway, I want to make sure that we thought things through. So we're going to release it in batches. And as part of that, there'll be different levels or different times that we release it. Obviously, you get early on the waiting list, you're going to be the first coaches to get in here. We'll give you a discount for that feedback. Steve,
I'm going to tell. Hey, Coach, I'm glad you're liking the video. Hit like down below. That helps us a ton, being found on YouTube. Subscribe. Also, hit the little bell up above if you want to get notified. We put a new video up every day. We're breaking some of the great stuff down right now. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. Oh, yeah.
75%.
Yes. So 75%? That's the first time I'm hearing of that. Really?
Oh, yeah. We'll give 5 coaches 75% off. For their feedback, and then the next it'll be tiered, so 50%.
Okay, so I would
literally jump on right now.
I'm surprised. That's the first time hearing that.
I know.
That's a big percentage.
That's
anyway.
Huge.
So I'm not editing this, so he's going to leave that anyway. I'm going to tell you, I've seen the practice plans. They're awesome. You're going to want to get these. You're going to want to get in early. And here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you from someone that runs their own business and runs teachhoops.com that, and I was telling Coach this, we're at $39 a month. It's going to be 40 something soon. I still have a beta member from 2016 paying $9 a month for something that someone's paying, 4 times, 5 times that now, because they got in early, and they were able to get it in early. So I'm a firm believer in beta versions and getting in. You're going to have the biggest impact on what Bill's going to put in the practice plans too if you get in early.
They're only going to get better as
they go on. Yeah.
As they go on, and of course, what happens if they get better? I got to raise prices. I got to feed my family.
You got more overhead.
I got more overhead. Right?
I can't.
And it's not easy,
Jersey
right? I mean, there's a lot of content that a lot of thinking. We're doing K through 8 right now. Right, eventually we'll do high school, but K through 8. And again, like I said, we want to make these for you coaches so your life is easier. Your dad or mom rushing from work to basketball practice, here you go. This is what you're going to teach. And knowing that what you taught at the last practice, this next practice builds upon that, and the next one builds upon that. So at the end of the season, you can look back and say, wow, your players were at level 1 and man, now they're at level 3. Right. For example. So
So show the people that are watching. Is there other things that you wanted to show them?
So yeah, let me. So again,
And I'll talk through the listeners.
Yeah, go to basketballpracticeplans.com and sign up. That's your first step. Get on that list. We're letting 5 coaches in pretty early, first or second week of August. We'll let the first few coaches in. All right. So then from there, let's go to the website. So once you're on the website, let me sure you can see that, Coach.
So I see the sign up sheet right now. Yep. Awesome.
Okay. You see the website?
Yep, I do. Right. Yes.
All right. So once you're in, you have your own account. Just quickly show that. You'll get an invite code, sign up. You'll see it here. You'll see this is where you see all your subscriptions and such, but you guys don't care about that. Let's look at the plans.
Yeah. Okay. So what's going to happen is for the beta members, you'll send, because it's only 5 people, you could literally write them a personal email. You're going to give them some sort of code to get in. Okay.
Yeah, they'll get a special code because if they go to the website, they won't be able to get in.
Yeah, it'll be closed. Right?
Okay. So once you're inside, then you just find your practice plans. You can do a quick search for whatever. Let's say you're looking for 6th grade. Oops. 6th grade. All right, boom, there you go. There's your practice plan. You'll have a couple options. We'll see what we launch with at what we launch with, but you can choose your level of experience. What's the level of experience of your team?
Yeah.
Are they recreational, or the beginners, intermediate, advanced, or elite? And then your practice duration, 60 minutes, 90, 120.
Okay. And initially, you might only do, like you were 60, talking about earlier, probably 60 initially while you're building this. Then you'll get more.
Getting the feedback. Yep.
And what I love. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, you get a full season of practice plans. You'll get instant access to it. So if you're running from your work off to the basketball court, you can download them right away. Right. So you get the packet right away. You'll have video tutorials so you can see, and I'll show you a practice plan here in a second. And of course, if you don't like them, let me know. I don't want you guys to buy these things and not like them, right? Or tell me, and I'll help you through whatever challenge you're having on the practice plan. I want to make sure that they're working for you.
Right. And as he pulls that up, I'm going to talk, because he showed me one before we jumped on. What I love about it, and this is, again, if you're a youth coach and you're listening to this podcast, you're probably going to be interested in this. I love that. And I've given Coach plenty of input. He can do whatever he wants with it. I don't care. But I love that he has a video kind of explaining it. Then he'll also have a diagram. He'll have words. So he'll have all the different things that will kind of help you through the process as you're running out the door to go to your daughter's 3rd grade basketball practice or whatever it is. You'll have everything you need there to help you, as long as as long as you kind of know what a little bit about the court and what they're doing and stuff like that. But go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, you just have to have some some basic understanding, right? And I'm trying to make it the whole spectrum, for the learning spectrum for the coaches as well. So you can see here, I've added in a bunch of, how each of these practice plans are designed, kind of my frame of mind, how I design these. I've spent hours in the gym, right? Doing everything wrong in the beginning to, like, how do you run an efficient practice? And I've really boiled it down to a few things and made it very structured. And understanding, I think it's important, we don't talk about this as enough, is why do you coach? Like, why are you even doing this, right? And then every drill breaks down into one of 3 things you're going to do. You're either going to teach that drill, the kids are either going to train on that drill, or you're going to play it and using constraints, small-sided games or whatever. Okay. And you'll play more as the season progresses. Because, if you're younger, you're teaching them how to do something, right? And then they work on it on their own, and then you can play under constraints.
Right. No, I love that.
And then the whole practice plan structure breaks down into 4 or 5 components, which is the skill component you start with.
Yep.
And then you get into the games like stuff. So this is really important. This is one of the important things that I've learned. is I would do a drill. It's like, well, why am I doing this drill? Because I pulled it off of YouTube and somebody told me I should be doing it. Well, how does that, what I found over the years is you can teach it, but then you go in a game and they don't know how to relate to it. Like okay, coach, show me how to do this thing, but how does it relate to a game? So I broke the game down into the 4 components, which is you're either transitioning to defense, you're on defense, you're transitioning to offense, or you're on offense. So then I bucket the drills under those categories. So then you can relate the drill to what's happening on the basketball court.
You've heard me say that a million times. It's true. You're only in 4 things when you're playing: offense, defense, transition, offense, transition, defense. That's the only 4 things that ever happen in a game.
Right.
Those 4 things live. Yeah. So I love that. And then skill development.
Yeah. And skill development, right. And it doesn't matter what age, you always need more skill development. Period.
What I love that what you've done too is there's a progression. Like anything that's good, there has to be a progression. Yeah. Like, why am I teaching a hook shot when a kid can't shoot a layup? Like kind of thing. Like there has to be some sort of progression in the learning process. Yeah.
Well, and I'm giving an example right now of the kindergarten basketball practice. Like, how many of them are actually shooting or doing a layup?
Right.
And you're going to teach some of the basic components of that, but you can't expect any.
Then some of them aren't going to be strong enough to get the ball up. I mean, unless you're playing on a really low hoop.
Lower hoops, but but it doesn't matter. It's the structure is nearly the same. It goes through what there's 24 practices. If you're practicing 2 days a week, that'll get you a little bit, 12 weeks, right? Practice. This is a 60-minute practice. You can fill in your name. We talk about the post-practice huddle, and then you can fill in, what day of the week it is that you're practicing, just so you keep track of what you just did. Did I do this one, or did I?
I love that you left a little area for notes too.
Yeah, so you can add your own notes.
You could put like hey, remember Billy's bringing snack on Tuesday.
That's right. Yeah. Or we have a game this weekend.
We have a game this week. Remember, or hey, watch the Badgers on TV or something fun.
Or ask somebody how they're doing, or if they're exactly. Right. Yep.
Love that.
So anyway, so then you'll see this, right? We have our warm up and skill work. We have transition to defense drills, defense off, transition to offense. And then I call these special plays, which includes all your out of bounds plays, maybe your press break if you're doing one, probably not at the kindergarten level. At least I hope not, that they're pressing at kindergarten. But then also,
I hope they're playing 3-on-3 at kindergarten, to be honest with you, but who knows? Totally agree. That's another podcast at some point.
Another podcast. I love
that.
That's right.
I love that. So I love that there's transitions. I love that there's different ways to jump into this. Again, if you're listening to this on the podcast, and you want to see all the stuff we talked about, kind of his pillars, his an example of the podcast, or the example of the practice plan. If you want to see where you sign up, all of that, I'll put a link down below, and if you want to see this stuff, you'll fast forward to the second half of the podcast, and you can kind of see it on YouTube, and that would be helpful. Any parting words on this, Coach, as far as again, this is a work in progress, and if you want to get in, while Amazon is still selling books and not everything in the kitchen sink, now is the time, because
that's right.
For the young pups out there, Amazon used to only sell books.
Yeah, world's largest bookstore is what they used to say, right?
Yeah, I just bought a bunch of books too. But anyway, so any parting words, Coach?
Yeah, no, just go sign up at basketballpracticeplans.com. We'll get you in. Like I said, we'll do it in different stages. But again, I really truly want feedback. What works? What doesn't? What do I need to tweak so it's useful when you're on the court? So again, this is a beta version. We're going to be launching fully by this year basketball season, right? We're basketball season in the U.S. anyway. This will be up fully operational by no later than September.
That's out in the world now. It's out in the world.
You heard it.
He's put it. All right. Till next week, Coach.
All right, Coach. Thank you.
Yep. Hey, Coach. So glad you enjoyed the video. Subscribe and like, and go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better.